What's up, y'all? This is Lou down here at Real Boxing Gym in Las Vegas. So this is the video that I wanted to make to kind of try to rationalize to the best of my ability what may have happened to trigger the stoppage between Rolly Romero and Ismael Barroso. So I know there's a lot of controversy surrounding this stoppage. You know, a lot of people feel that Tony Weeks might have been on the take. And I've expressed that corruption in boxing is not usually that quite blatant. Like, I'm not going to say that there's no corruption, because there's a lot of corruption. But in terms of paying off a referee, I mean, that entails, like, sooner or later, somebody's going to find out about it. There's going to be a paper trail of some sort, or someone is going to notice. You know, like a lot of these referees that you guys see in high-profile fights, I've seen around town, and they're not living large enough to be being paid off to keep essentially a federal crime under wraps. So I don't think it's a matter of that. I understand the viewpoint that it could be, but I really don't think that. And as everybody has noted online, Tony Weeks has pretty much a glowing reputation. He's always been a fairly competent referee. I mean, you know, I'm sure there's stuff that people have disagreed with that he's done, but not quite this egregiously. So what I think took place was a combination, like a perfect storm of smaller details. Like, I'm not sure if Weeks was familiar with how Barroso fights, because Barroso is kind of similar to Mayorga in that he has good technique for what he is, and he's a savvy boxer, but he's awkward, and his movements are awkward and kind of jerky. And then on top of that, he was a quick replacement, you know, fair to say last-minute replacement. And furthermore, Weeks is going to be very familiar with Rolly, and of course, there's going to be some favor there. Essentially, what you know is, okay, Rolly's a big puncher. This dude is 40 years old, and he's a last-minute replacement opponent. I got to be on alert for any little thing that goes wrong. So I'm going to get this dude out of here, because what we don't want is a 40-year-old man dying in the ring. So you're going to be on high alert in that situation as a referee in general. So to kind of give a small basic demonstration of what I mean, I stress to my fighters, to my own students, a lot about something called body language. I mean, everybody knows what body language is. You know, I'm using body language right now, but in the ring, body language is how you hold yourself. You know, how you look, and when you receive damage, you're tight, and if you get hit, you know, you receive force, you don't really go anywhere. You know, you kind of you're standing strong, maybe stepping through it. Barroso's body language is a lot more disorganized than that. It's a lot more hands open, you know, hands down, hands wide. And when he slipped, a couple times I noticed that he would have his hands like this and just kind of drop. So that, like, if you do like a drop like that, and then you come back and you're off balance, or you look off balance, even if you step back and throw, you still look like you're throwing out of desperation. You know, or if you slip and your slip is kind of messy, and then you come back with something, again, you still look like you're throwing out of desperation, out of a response, like a panic response. Not because you're calculatedly slipping and throwing like a nice tight shot, or stepping back and throwing a nice tight shot. Barroso doesn't always look like that. And I do believe that at that point in the fight, he was fatigued. He was tired. Fatigue can often be mistaken for being hurt. I'd say that's a fairly common thing. So at the point where Rolly was on top of him, you know, unloading in the way that Rolly does, and Barroso is clumsily trying to evade everything, and then there's one point where he literally drops forward with both of his arms forward, and you see Weeks already, he was like on alert, like, waiting to see, like, do I need to jump in? Do I need to jump in? That to me is what led to the stoppage. It's like I said, like a perfect storm of this guy's fatigued, his movements are awkward. I don't know him well enough to trust that he's not hurt. He's 40 years old, plus this kid is a big puncher. So if I leave this guy undefended and off balance, and this kid starts unloading on him, that's going to be a way worse look for me. Referees are pretty much told better to stop a fight too early than too late or not at all. So really, that's more what I think it was. Do I think Rolly has favoritism in Vegas and among professional boxing? Yeah, of course I do. Of course I do. He's gotten the benefit of the doubt a few different times, even as I've said before, even in amateurs. But that's the nature of the game. You can say that about a lot of fighters. Do I personally feel that Barroso deserved to be stopped right at that moment? No, I don't agree with that stoppage at all. But even I could arguably be said to be a little bit more familiar with Barroso and how his style was and what his body language looks like. So in a little bit better of a position to say he's not hurt, he's tired, he's fighting back, and that's how this particular guy looks when he's evading and throwing back. Like, he doesn't look tight, with really tight, strong body language in terms of how he receives force. He kind of, like, by any means necessary, getting out of the way of it. So that's my opinion. I just wanted to give that as a possible answer, like me doing my level best as a boxing guy to give a rational explanation why that may have happened. Is it possible it could have been something else? Sure, absolutely. Almost anything is within the realm of possibility. Having met and spoken to Tony Weeks, I don't think that he's the type of referee that would agree to do something like that at some point in a fight before the fight took place. He's never struck me as that kind of guy. But anyway, just wanted to share that with you guys. Thanks a lot.